Good morning, everybody. It's been some time, but I've decided to just take a break for a couple of days. But don't worry about it, I'll keep up with the uploads. Today, I want to talk about something that really grinds my gears, that really juices my juicer. And that is awful anime tropes. You've all heard of them, you've all seen them, and they all suck. And I want to talk about the 5 worst ones. Starting off, OP powers from the start. This is pretty self-explanatory. The protagonist, of course, has to be the most powerful character by the end of the story. However, it always feels cheap when such an achievement was basically given to the protagonist from the start. Because they had some overpowered power that was secret and nobody else could use, but they alone can use, so they are special. I would like to see the protagonist actually work hard in order to achieve such a goal. Maybe use, common powers, but because, hard work and ingenuity, he manages to exceed this. It's kind of boring when the protagonist is like, oh look, I am the only one capable of using this secret technique that I was born with to beat the main bad guy. Great examples is Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, with Deku getting the most powerful fucking quirk for nothing. And now One Piece. One Piece, back in the day, I used to praise it for, defeating this trope. Because he didn't have anything special, he just had a rubber fruit. With his ingenuity and creativity, he managed to make it work. But nope, the recent One Piece chapters basically tell us that he has the most powerful devil fruit ever invented. So yeah, that's dumb. It took something actually creative about One Piece and unique about One Piece and turned it into something generic. I'm very disappointed with Yoda. Very disappointed. Anyways, let's go to the next trope. Kids being stronger than adults. Now, I know that a lot of shonen has to do about, it tries to relate to the people watching, and who are watching, usually teenagers. But this one is pretty self-explanatory. And it really rubs me the wrong way. I know the argument that some of you are going to make in the comments. Oh, it's a shonen, it's meant for kids. But that doesn't matter. You can make a shonen with a protagonist that is not an infant. One Piece is actually a good example. Luffy does start off at 17, sure underage, but then he grows up a bit. He might even grow up a bit more. He might reach his 20s by the time the story is over. At the very least, he has had a lot of training and experience. The worst offender in this category, to use as an example, is Hunter x Hunter. You're telling me that this 12-year-old boy, 12 years old, is not just competing by kicking the crap out of adults that have more than 15 years of experience. I don't care how gifted you are in anything. There needs to be a more realistic age expectation for anime. Have a protagonist start at 15 to 16 years old and watch them grow into their peak of their power when they're like 22 to 23 years old. I always find it so stupid and unrealistic watching infants defeating 40-year-old veterans with fighting experience more than 20 years under their belt. It just feels so stupid to witness a literal infant beating the shit out of an adult. It makes no fucking... I don't care how... Oh, in Hunter x Hunter, you're born with the nan you're always gonna have. You cannot game. Or shut up. That's bullshit shit. That's dumb. If that is true, it's dumb plot. It's just stupid. It just dumb. Seeing a 10-year-old beating a big fucking 50-year-old dude. That makes no sense at all. So that's number 4. Let's go to number 3. Bullshit power-ups. Out of all of these 5, this one is the most universal. And the most universally hated one. Also, I'm pretty sure this is another point that is self-explanatory. I'm sure that most of you will agree with this one. Because it's, like I said, it's the most universally hated trope in all of anime. I hate to see the main protagonist or a member of the main cast fight a villain they can't defeat. And then suddenly, boom, power up that was never mentioned to be possible ever just happens and the villain gets one-shotted. The most serious offender here is Fairy Tail. Even the most hardcore Fairy Tail fanboys can't defend this one. Every time the main character is about to lose, he says some bullshit about friendship and one-shots the main villain with heroic music playing in the background. It's just pure bad writing. How am I supposed to be emotionally invested in any fight when you as a writer have proven that the protagonist, whenever he's in danger, boom, let me just pull some bullshit power up from my ass and destroy everything? It's dumb. The only time this has been used correctly was in Dragon Ball Z, when Goku was fighting Frieza and he turned Super Saiyan, because it was set up that the Super Saiyan has this kind of power. Dragon Ball Super, for example, is absolutely awful with this. With Goku and everybody else gaining so many bullshit power-ups left and right, it's just crazy. Regardless, Ultra Instinct is an awesome example of this. That was number 3. Universally agreed shitty anime trope. Let's go to number 2. OP parents. Overpowered parents. Never have I ever seen a mainstream anime protagonist whose mom or dad is not some godly, overpowered, divine being of destruction. I don't understand why every manga writer feels the need to make the parents of the protagonist so powerful. The biggest issue I have with this is that it's not realistic, nor is it relatable. Why does the dad have to be a demigod every time and not just some minimum wage worker? And also, why do all the dads suck at being parents? Almost all of them abandon their kids and wives and go do their own adventure. I'm looking at you, Gin and Dragon from One Piece and fucking Hunter x Hunter. You have a family. You can't just leave them and never come back. Unless you're a terrible dad, which, the plot never suggests that they are. I mean, Gon is like, my dad is awesome. Bro, your dad left you and your mom there to perish. He doesn't give a fuck about you. I don't think he cares. And about, the fourth point I made, which is kids being stronger than adults. You might say, they are younger so that the younger audience can relate to the younger cast. Well, how does the younger audience relate to this one? You can't relate with your parents being overpowered because most people's parents are just regular people, not rich billionaires, or boxing legends like Mike Tyson or whatever. Most people's parents are ordinary people that just, live normal lives. So you cannot relate to someone whose heritage is just filled with godlike beings. Naruto is also a big contender in this one. Anyway, that's number 2. Let's get to number 1. Number 1. We've made it, boys and girls. That is the plot armor. The most dumb shit ever. How many times have you seen the main protagonist of a story get bailed by someone or something when they're close to death, or win a fight when they should have lost? This also ties in with number 3, bullshit power-ups, because plot armor and bullshit power-ups are very similar. The answer is, many. You have seen that shit happen many times. The reality is that many manga writers actually suck at writing stories. Thus, they write themselves into corners very often, with the only solution being plot armor. It does not even have to be the main protagonist either. Sometimes the villain also gets plot armor, because if they lose to a really powerful hero, for example, the story can continue. For example, looking at you, JJK, Jujutsu Kaisen. We all know what we're talking about if you read the manga. A story that has a lot of plot armor makes every encounter with any possible threat be meaningless because you already know the protagonist is going to win by the end of it. Also, it is most egregious when plot armor is completely disregards logic or stated facts and feats. When one character has been stated multiple times to be stronger than another, or has actually shown us that they are capable of being stronger than the other character, the villain, for example, and they just lose for plot development, is stupid. It's just dumb. Plot armor is really close with number 3, but I decided to make it a different category by itself because plot armor isn't always necessarily for bullshit power-ups. Plot armor could also be just an overpowered ability being unlocked. It could be anything. Or just, Demon Slayer comes into hand, where they were fighting the 6th demon, right? And the guy with the pig mask, I forgot his name, he gets stabbed in the heart. And he died. And it turns out, nope, he's fine. Why? Because he can rearrange his organs. That is plot armor. That has never been stated before that he's capable of doing something like that. He just learned how to do that. And apparently he's immune to poison because he grew up in the jungle. I mean, come on. Those are some of the best examples for plot armor you can think of. Right then and there. Stupid. Fucking dumb. Well, this was the list. Just a quick video. And just, I just want to talk about the gripes I have with this, with the anime, with these anime tropes. I hope you enjoyed my ranting. I'll see you in the next episode, Brian. Good night, everybody.